Okay, so today the book that I've chosen to read is The Fantastic Body: What Makes You Tick and How You Get Sick by Dr. Howard Bennett. This book has many sections in it, so the section that I'm choosing to read is called Muscle Madness. I'm choosing to read this book because or at least this section of the book, because it gives a baseline understanding of muscles and how they work in the body. The second reason is also because it explains in simple terms what happens in your muscles and how the body uses oxygen and the different muscles to work together so that you can create movements. So, here we go. Muscle Madness. When you think about muscles, the bigger ones in your arms and legs probably come to mind. But you couldn't blink if you didn't have muscles in your eyelids. You also couldn't roll your eyes at your parents if it weren't for the 6 muscles that control each of your eyelids. Skeletal muscles. Muscles act by contracting, getting smaller, and relaxing. You have 3 types of muscle in your body: skeletal, smooth, and cardiac. Skeletal muscles are the ones you use to walk, eat, and play an instrument. They attach to your bones and other connective tissue. They're under voluntary control, which means you can make them move when you want to. Skeletal muscles are the strongest muscles that you have, but they also tire the fastest. The major functions of these muscles are to maintain posture, produce movement, and to generate heat to help body temperature. Skeletal muscles are often found in groups related to specific actions. If you flex your arm to show someone how strong you are, the bicep muscles in your upper arm contracts and the competing muscle, the triceps, relax. If you straighten your arm, the triceps contract and the bicep relaxes. Movement is a complex dance between the antagonistic muscles in your body. There's a nice little diagram here, that just gives a brief little image about where different muscles are so that while I'm reading the book, I can point to the muscles, such as the biceps and the triceps. Well, the triceps for the back side of the guy. Okay. Calling all tendons. A tendon is a tough, stringy tissue that connects muscle to bone. Some tendons, like the ones in your fingers, keep bones properly aligned for precise movements. Others, like the ones in your legs, have an elastic quality that helps muscles perform. When you run, your calf muscles are alternatingly flexed and stretched depending on where you are in your stride. When the muscles stretch, some of that energy is passed to the Achilles tendon. That makes your next stride stronger because the energy stored in the Achilles tendon is released as the muscles flex. Smooth muscle. Smooth muscle is found in the walls of body structures such as your iris, bladder, and intestinal tract. This type of muscle is controlled automatically by the non-thinking part of your brain. The contractions that propel food and waste through your intestinal tract are carried out by smooth muscle. This is really convenient because if you had to control digestion, you wouldn't have enough brain power left over to read this book. Cardiac muscle. The third type of muscle in your body is cardiac muscle, which is in your heart. Cardiac muscle is not under voluntary control either, but what makes it special is its ability to work without getting tired. The average heart beats 80 times per minute. That means it contracts more than 115,000 times per day. If you tried to make a fist that often, you'd end up with tired hands pretty quickly. The cells in your body get their energy from microscopic structures called mitochondria. Mitochondria are the body's version of batteries that recharge themselves. Cardiac muscle is able to outwork skeletal and smooth muscle because it contains lots more mitochondria. Feel the burn. When you exercise, you breathe faster to get more oxygen into your body and to eliminate carbon dioxide. Muscles work better with plenty of oxygen, but they can function without it for periods of time. If muscles work with insufficient oxygen, a byproduct called lactic acid builds up. This is one of the reasons your muscles burn during strenuous exercise. Sprain a joint, strain a muscle. If you exercise too much or pull a muscle, some of the fibers can tear. This is called a muscle strain and typically causes swelling, pain, and stiffness. This is similar to what happens when you sprain a joint. Only in this case, it's the muscle, not a ligament, that's injured. The pain usually lasts for a few days, so rest, ice, and pain medication help. There are also little side tips here on in the edges of the book to just extra little reads. This is the end of that section. So, some of the reasons that I chose this book and how it's going to benefit to my content is that it gives a brief description of a multitude of the different health parts in the body. The sections are also small, as you can see, so if I were to try and read them before a gym class so that students could get a general idea like of how the muscles work in the body, I can do that without taking up too much time from when the students could be doing the activity for the day. The third reason that this could benefit my content is the book, as you can see, breaks down many of the complex ideas so that anyone in the learning group can understand it on a base level. So if they didn't understand how muscles worked, they at least understand that muscles work together rather than just each muscle doing one thing. The section or the standards that I chose for this book, or particularly this section, are, the first one is from Standard 3 for grade kindergarten. It's benchmark B, item 2. Recognize that when one moves fast, the heart beats fast and breathing becomes faster. Directly correlated to a section in the book. The second standard is Standard 3, Grade 4, Benchmark B, Item 3. Identify activities to improve muscular strength and endurance in the upper and lower body. My third standard is Standard 5, Grade 6, Benchmark A, Item 1, which is describe how being physically active contributes to a healthy body. And my fourth standard is Standard 5, grade, it's just high school. For those standards, there's either a high school 1 or a high school 2. So this is high school 1, benchmark A, item 1. Analyze the impact of physical activity on the body and explain the health benefits of regular participation in moderate to vigorous physical activity. Thanks for watching.